Hello, in this video we'll talk about becoming a slave in your own company. That's right, unfortunately this is what happens to most business owners when they start their own ventures. So in this video we'll talk about the process of the natural growth of the company and how come after realizing your dream you end up being a slave where the whole company depends on you. Which is unfortunately a terrible place to be in. And then at the end of the video, I'll provide a solution or the next steps that are needed so that you can stand back and regain your life. Please remember to subscribe to become part of the Stand Back to Grow team, which allows to grow the channel and share it with others who need our help. So, you have this dream, you've got this epiphany, it could be this moment of brilliance when you just think, yes, I am going to start my own business. Once you pluck that in your mind, that's it, you're hooked, you are going to start the business. Sometimes it is your friends, your families, or even your co-workers, your colleagues at work. It might be during a family gathering where they say, oh, you're so good at what you do, you sacrifice all your time, no one appreciates it, your boss just doesn't care, even though you put all these hours in, you should start your own venture. And that's sensible. It could be yourself coming to that same conclusion, thinking, well, if there's anyone that cares about this company, it's me, not even the bosses. So you might reaffirm yourself that this is the right decision. And also your colleagues, they might say, oh my God, you're just such a player, you're so good at what you do, you should go on your own and moreover, I'll join you. So you have this reassurance surrounding you to start your own business. And on top of it, if you're really good at what you do, then there's nothing missing. That's it. You will start a business, which is great. So the next thing you do is you start your own company. You make your dream come true. And naturally, you're good at what you do. So you have customers. You might have customers from your previous employment, although it's always a bit tricky and you might fall out with your previous employees if you do that. So you might have to start all over, but nevertheless, you are good. So sooner or later, you will end up with happy customers. Happy customers not only come back to you, but they also recommend you to others. So naturally, you start to grow organically. Now, the next thing that happens is you start working more. Isn't that what you wanted? Of course it is. I mean, this is the reason why you started the business. And secondly, this is how you measure your success. The more customers you have, the better you feel, and the more you know that what you are providing is actually what customers want and enjoy. So naturally, your company grows. You might start off as a pair because you might feel that you're very good at doing something that you're doing, whereas you're missing other sort of areas like maybe bookkeeping or finances, so you team up with someone. Unfortunately, quite often that someone is your partner, and I do say unfortunately because it's very tricky then to grow further, and if you do fall out, then suddenly you're at the mercy of the dynamics between the two of you. So that's why that is a sticky subject, but that is a topic for a separate video. Now, do stay on because we are going to continue about the growth of the company. And as a reminder, at the end, we'll talk about the solution. Once you start naturally having more organic traffic to your company, there comes one could say a breaking point where you just can't cope with the amount of work yourself. So what happens next? Yes, you employ your first employee. And bear in mind, that is a wonderful moment. It's a wonderful step in your venture. Suddenly there's someone else who wakes up and turns up at your place of work. So you changed someone's life. Their purpose is to get up and dedicate their time helping you in your venture. That is magical. But nevertheless, you have that person. And that means you are ready for further growth because your capacity has increased. So you continue to grow, you have more customers, and then suddenly that additional employee is not enough. So then you have to employ another person. So there are 3 of you, and you are slowly and gradually building a company around yourself with you being right in the middle. And moreover, when you employ a new person, you might make the fatal mistake of saying, if you don't know anything, just ask me. What this means is that you immediately tell the new person what your relationship is with them. You are the leader, they are the slave, someone who will have to follow you. So you make that mistake, but again, that's a topic for a different video. And you become the company. Yes, you do have employees around you, but you are the company. Nothing happens without you, and every single thing happens because of you. And at the beginning, you don't realize it. It's great fun. You're someone. Like, people ask you, you feel special. You say things happen. You delegate. If you delegate, bear in mind, you might not delegate, and you end up with paid audience, so people you pay, yet you still do the work. But nevertheless, let's say you have a team that works. It continues to grow. And then you realize that the company depends so much on you that there's no way out. You realize that you haven't been for holidays. You realize that weekends become work. You realize that evenings and early mornings become work. Every single decision has to be taken by you. Even buying the toilet paper, every single phone call that is received by your employee is relayed over to you, so you're still involved in it. You know everything about what's happening in the company. And our brains are finite. There's a finite amount of information that we can healthily process. And when you sort of follow that natural growth of a business, you inevitably end up in that position where you simply can't handle more. Even if you have teams forming and managers managing those teams, those managers will be relaying all their problems to you. And you will end up in a probably the worst possible job where you handle only the problems, because the easy things will be done by your employees, whereas all the unusual things, very unhappy customers that are threatening court action and all of that, those issues will land on your desk. So your job becomes a horrible job. You're dealing with all the worst things in a company. Bear in mind, you're still very good at what you do. So you still have existing customers coming back to you and them referring you to others. So you juggling so many items at one time, and there comes a breaking point where you simply can't. And the worst thing is, and that is why you become a slave of your own company, it's because there's no way out. You can't grow anymore because your brain just does not have that capacity. Bear in mind that at this moment in time, probably your health has deteriorated. You don't have time for your own things, your pastimes, your hobbies, meeting friends. Probably your family is biting back at you, saying that you're always working. You obviously say that you're working because of them to provide a good living and so on, but from their perspective, you are not available. So basically, everything is sort of almost like barking at you. You trying to handle the situation. Everyone is complaining around you, and it's a horrible place to be in. And as you probably realized, this is my passion, helping business owners, ambitious business owners, get over that horrible situation. So, as we said, you can't continue your growth, but also going back, that is not an option. Are you going to lay all your employees and cut down 90% of your customers and go back to when things were comfortable, when you were on your own and just handling a manageable amount of customers? No, many reasons. Like saying no to your customers is very difficult. Laying off your employees, well, why would you do it if you've got a good business? Also, mentally, like how would you cope with the fact that you had a big company and now you've gone back 10 steps back to square one? What will your family say? It's just not an option. So you are trapped. Basically, you are in a trap. And if you don't know what I'll tell you in a second, then you stay there. And I know business owners who have been in that situation for years, where the only day off they have in a year is Christmas Day, and that's it. They haven't been for a holiday for the last few years because everything depends on them. So this is the secret. In order to overcome that horrible position, you have to stand back. When you stand back, you allow the company to become a separate entity. You detach yourself from the company so that the company can work like a well-oiled machine. And you become someone who is in charge of making sure that that machine not only runs perfectly fine, but is also able to grow. Only then you have a healthy relationship with your company. You gain more time, therefore you have time for your pastimes, for your friends, for your family, for everything you want to do. And on top of it, you have now detached yourself from the company, therefore you are no longer the bottleneck for further growth. That is why the whole process is called stand back to grow, because when you detach yourself, you grow the business and you grow as a human. You now become a wiser person. You have a much better perspective from up above. You're able to see the strategic changes needed in your company so that it can continue to grow. So in this video, we've discussed the natural steps of growing as a company, why you end up as a slave in your own business, and then what you need to do to stand back. So if you want to find more, watch this video. You'll definitely love it. And also, please remember to visit standbacktogrowth.com. We'll find out how you can regain your own life.